I don't know if this is a sign or not, but I go to sit down to record my video and this massive thunderstorm starts. Oh well. Hello everybody and welcome to Lindsay's Little Library. I thought I would check in with you today and kind of give you an update on where I landed with my summer reading bingo that I participated in with my local library. I've mentioned this bingo program a couple of times in some previous videos, but I never really dedicated a video to it or kind of talked about what my thoughts were and why I did it. So I thought I'd do that today. This was again supported by my local library. It's an adults only library bingo game. So we're given a bingo sheet and there are 24 different prompts on here for you to pick a book that fits maybe that subject or that genre. It's totally on your honor. I didn't cheat. Too bad. I'll tell you the one thing I maybe cheated at. So you write down the books that you read and you try to get as many bingos as you can. Every bingo that you get, you can turn this in for a specific prize, and they're like little prizes, like a book or a DVD or something like that. I didn't do this for the prize. I did this to try to kind of expand my horizons a little bit. So I was going for Blackout, didn't quite make it. I read 17 books. I needed 24 to get Blackout, but I'm pretty happy with 17. It's decent. It's decent. So it started in May and ended the end of August, so it's over. I have a total of 4 bingos that I got, so that's pretty decent. So yeah, like I said, I didn't do this necessarily for the prizes. I did this to encourage myself to read outside my comfort zone. I am probably like everyone else out there, and I find the genre I like and I stick to it. Hence the video I did a while ago about my obsession with World War II historical fiction. I'll leave the link below. Trust me, I love, love, love that subject, so I tend to read a lot about it, and I love those books. I don't have a lot of experience with poetry books or with short stories or stuff like that, so I wanted to force myself to get outside my comfort zone a little bit, and then also just to kind of see what happens, see where I landed. So I got 4 bingos. I read 17 books total. 6 of them were 5-star books for me. 6 of them were also 4-star books for me. 3 were 3-star, 1 was a 2-star, and 1 was a 1-star. So I thought I would go over what each of the prompts were and whether or not I read a book and what book I read to kind of fulfill that prompt. So the first, I'm just going to start going across the page here. The first prompt was a romance or Western book. And for that prompt, I picked Walk on Earth a Stranger by Ray Carson. This is about a girl named Lee who, she can sense gold. She can find it. And it takes place right at the beginning of the gold rush. How perfect, right? So she survives a little bit of tragedy and she decides to head out on her own, go out west to California during the gold rush because, hello, she can find gold. Fantastic read, 5 stars all around, love it, and I cannot wait to get to start the second book. The next prompt was a banned or challenged book. I did not read a book to fulfill that. The next one was a library reads pick. Now this is something I'm super excited to learn about. Is at the library, they have different handouts right when you walk in, and some of you are going to be like, Lindsay, where have you been? They've always been there. Hello. But I didn't know about it. They have handouts when you walk in about kind of what are the top books in different genres throughout kind of all the libraries in the country. A number of librarians kind of go through and pick this list. So think of it as like New York Times bestseller, but nope, libraries bestseller lists. Awesome list. I've checked it out every time that I go in there. But I checked out the list and I went with Lilac Girls by Martha Hall Kelly. I listened to this on audiobook. This is again another 5-star read for me. Shocking World War II historical fiction right here. But awesome book. Follows the lives of 3 women during World War II, an American, German, and a Polish woman, and kind of what happened. I can't say much more than that. Chocked full of great stuff. Definitely do this, and I highly recommend the audiobook. It was fantastic. My next prompt is a biography or memoir, and I listened to the book Yes Please by Amy Poehler. Hilarious. Loved it, and she's got some really great advice in it as well, so I gave that 4 stars. My next prompt was a poetry collection, and if I'm going to be completely honest with y'all, this was probably going to be the last space that I would fill. I'm just not into it. I'm just not. So then we've got historical fiction, and for that prompt, I read The Wife, the Maid, and the Mistress by Ariel Lawhon. This is I give this 4 stars. This is centered around a true story. So back in the 1930s, Judge Joseph Crater was gone. He went missing. Nobody knows what happened to him. Still nobody knows what happened to him. So this author kind of took that story and gives us her take on what she thinks happened to the judge. From the wife's point of view, from the maid's point of view, and from the mistress's point of view. Fantastic read. It's short. Pick it up. It's awesome. Loved it. My next book is, the prompt was an author. Author is a person of color. So I went with Everything Everything by Nicolay Yoon. Fantastic YA book about a girl. Let's see how many stars I give it. Give it 5 stars. Not surprising. A girl, what's her name? I forget her name. Gosh, I'm horrible. She's basically allergic to everything. She's stuck in her apartment. She cannot leave. Everything outside she's allergic to. And so she kind of watches some new neighbors move in next door and strikes up a little bit of a kind of connection with the young man who moves in next door named Ollie. And they have a little adventure. That's all I'm going to tell you. Great book. Pick it up. My next prompt was to reread a favorite, and as most of you know, the family read Harry Potter this summer. We finally finished it. Fantastic. 5 stars as always. I love how much my kids loved this book, and we can't wait to read the second one next summer. My next prompt was a book set in winter. This was a little tough for me. It was kind of hard, A, to be in the mood to read a book set in winter in the middle of summer, and B, to kind of find one. So I read The Clouds Roll Away. I can't remember the author, but it was a library book and I just had to take it back. It was a mystery set around a character named Raleigh, and she was put on this case to kind of solve this hate crime, and she's part of this drug task force unit, and she's a detective with the FBI, and it's your classic mystery. It was fantastic. I gave that, I think, 3 stars. My next prompt was a sci-fi or fantasy, and I read A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. Oh, 5 stars for sure. 5 stars for the whole trilogy. I love it. I love it. I love it. But I can't tell you much about it because it's the 3rd book and I would just spoil you all over the place. But start with A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's the first one. Do it. You won't be disappointed. It's fantastic. My next prompt is a young adult book, and I went with The Selection by Kira Cass. Guilty pleasure all around. As you'll notice, there's quite a few young adult books, but I tried to fit them in other categories first before I filled this, because I'm totally a YA junkie for sure, so I would have no problem filling that one. But this is about a girl named America Singer, and she puts her name in to be part of The Selection. And what The Selection is 35 girls are chosen to kind of go and live in the palace and kind of date Prince Maxon, and he will then he'll kind of whittle it down until he picks the last one to be his wife. So good guilty pleasure read. Totally binged the whole entire series. It was phenomenal. So went with that one. I think I gave it 4 stars. Then the next prompt was a book made into a movie. Didn't quite get there. I could have done everything, but then I went to had a bingo, so I was trying to be strategic with this whole thing because that's how serious I am. Then we've got a free space. Then our next one is nonfiction, any topic, and I listened to the book American Wife by Taya Kyle. She's Chris Kyle's wife. He was the Navy SEAL who the movie American Sniper was based off of. Awesome book. Total appreciation for that life. Great insights into her relationship with God and her relationship with her husband and her relationship with her kids. It's just fantastic. I loved it. Listened to it. Highly recommend it. I gave that one 4 stars. My next space is a book from the library's classics collection. Easily could have read. My plan was to read To Kill a Mockingbird. I just didn't quite get there, so that space is blank. Next one is a book you hated in school and never actually read in school. I had a lot of choices for this. I never read The Giver. I never read The Hobbit. I never read Planet of the Apes. There's a lot that I didn't get to read in high school. I wasn't great at English, so I tried to take the easy way out a lot, which is kind of crazy with how much I love books, but we'll talk about that another day. My next one was a classic children's book, which I guess I probably could have filled in because we read children's books on a daily basis, especially anything Dr. Seuss, but never got around to it. Next one was recommended by a friend. I read Turbo 23 by Janet Ivanovich. Janet Ivanovich was recommended to me by a friend of mine who told me basically if you love audiobooks, you gotta listen to hers because they will crack you up your entire ride home, and they do. They're great. It's all around the Stephanie Plum, who is a bounty hunter, and she's got her sidekick Lula, who is hilarious. She's got a couple love interests. Great love triangle. Awesome, easy reads, and I love listening to them, so I did that one. My next one was a short story collection where this is where my kind of cheat comes in. I borrowed Sourland from the library, and it's a short story collection on different stories that center around grief and death, and thought that might be interesting. And it was not. 1-star read, horrible. I read half of the short story so that I could put it on here, because I think that counts. In my mind, it does. But I had to DNF it. It was just not good. Not good. My next square is an award winner, and I put Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel on that one. This is a dystopian book centered around a really bad flu epidemic kind of sweeps the world and knocks out, I think, 99% of the population. So we kind of follow the events that happened right before the epidemic, and then the events 20 years after the epidemic and kind of what happened. I believe I gave this a 3-star. It's good. It made me think, but it wasn't, I don't know why it won an award. I don't have luck with award-winning books, I'm sorry. The next space that I have filled was book with a great cover, and for this one I read Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. Again, it was good. I gave it 3 stars, but I don't know why I won an award. I don't. It's fine. I don't get it. The next space was a graphic novel. Didn't quite get to that one. My next space was current bestseller, and I picked Leanne Moriarty's Big Little Lies. Oh gosh. This is awesome. Seriously awesome. Follows the life of a number of kindergarten moms and the drama that can happen with that. I'll tell you one thing, somebody dies. It's good. Pick it up. I didn't spoil anything with the somebody dies thing. It's on the back. Don't worry about it. Next one was Translated from Another Language, which I read as Red as Blood by Salika Samuka. Psychological thriller about a girl who's pretty quiet in school, kind of keeps to herself, and somehow gets wrapped up in this mystery with these popular kids and kind of helps them out a little bit. Something was lost in translation. It was a good story. It was fine, but not super fantastic. And then my last prompt was a mystery or detective book. So I went with What She Knew by Gillian Macmillan. Make sure you can see that. This one is about a woman named Rachel who is out with her son kind of for a Sunday afternoon stroll. He runs up ahead of her at the park, and she gets to the place where they're supposed to meet, and he's gone. He's missing. So it goes through that. It shows you from her perspective as well as from the lead detective's perspective and kind of how he's handling the case, and takes you through that great, awesome mystery. Didn't really see the ending coming. It was fantastic. So that's it. This was super fun. I would totally do this again next year. My only regret is that I missed the end deadline of August 26th to actually hand in my bingo card. But like I said, I wasn't doing this for prizes. I was doing this completely for myself. And so I got out of it what I really wanted to get out of it. I was able to read a variety of books. I read subjects that I wouldn't normally pick up. I wouldn't normally pick up a short story collection. Even though I had a bad experience with it, I'm going to try that again. I haven't picked up any books translated by another author. it was a perfectly fine experience. I'd totally be open to doing that again. So this gave me 24 ideas for subjects that my book club can help pick from. It feels like when I'm saying I lead the thing, I really don't, but when we leave the door wide open for anybody to suggest any book, we kind of it's a little too overwhelming. Whereas if we narrow it down to a specific genre or to a specific subject, it's a little easier for us to kind of pick the book that we're picking. For example, this month we decided to pick a mystery or thriller book. Super easy. We had a few of them to choose from. We took a vote and it was done. So I've got some really great ideas for us as a book club to kind of, again, expand our experiences with reading. So all in all, great success. Can't wait to do it again next year. And yeah, so let me know, is there any type of a summer reading club or book club or some type of activity that you participate in, either at your library or in your city? Let me know down below. I'm always looking for some fun ideas to get to be a part of. So yeah, like, subscribe, and comment below, and I will see you next time. Bye.